And Belly here is about to get on to the steeper parts of the climb. He's starting to work his way down that cluster.
You can see that, and look at the road surface too. We're now getting to the top part of this climb, which is actually only open for a few months of the year because it's nearly always covered in snow, and it really is a very rough and difficult ascension that these riders are facing right now. Eddie Mazzolini on the front there, you know, he's had a pretty good season so far, Phil. He's maybe not one of the great winners of the sport, but consistency is the name of the game with Eddie Mazzolini. Earlier this year during the classics, the one-day classics, he was 10th in Flesh Wallon. Oh, this is it. Look at this.
There's the acceleration it was waited for. I think Rumsas has answered no, Casagrande has answered, so too has Popovic. Garzelli caught a little bit there. He's having to dig a bit deeper. Now, as Garzelli got this is a moment of truth for Stefano. I think he has this time. He's hooked up. A quick acceleration there by Simoni as the climb starts to bite.
Well, this is the kind of climb that should suit as well Francesco Casagrande. 1:11 there, and it's the time we're inside of around about 4.5 kilometers to go right now, and this is really when the climb starts to dig and bite into the thighs.
Slot, and he's now starting to go clear himself, and Pantani is having to just try, and here he goes. Marco Pantani is going to try and go with Garzelli shoulder to shoulder now with Francesco Casagrande. This is the steep part now. This is where the big gears come in.
This hurts, this part of the climb here. Marco Pantani at home, the area which has created the legend of Il Pirata. Marco Pantani is now riding himself back into the storybooks of the Giro d'Italia. Francesco Casagrande is not enjoying the steepness here. In the corners there, when they go around some of these corners, it kicks up to around about 22%. It really is not fun, and it's great to see these two guys together, Phil. Garzelli and Pantani, they for many, many years raced together. The master and the disciple are reunited.
There's going to be a lot of people today so delighted to see Pantani. They look very similar, don't they, now, with their heads shaved as they climb together. Not quite the same team colours, of course, they're different teams. But now it is Pantani who is setting the pace for Garzelli. They are in the convoy, queuing up behind Gilberto Simoni. And it looks as though the traffic there might be a bit of a problem.
Well, they're going to have to get all that cleared out as quickly as possible. The race referees are on board. They're trying to get it sorted out. But this is fabulous. This ride here by Sefano Garzelli. You know, you have to bear in mind that 12 months without a competition is a very, very difficult thing to come back from. And to see Marco Pantani also, kind of a comeback for Marco Pantani to the top end of the Giro d'Italia too. And these two men, if you blink and look at them, you'll not really remember which one is which.
Well, hats off to Marco. Here he comes again now over the top of Garzelli to try and keep the tempo going. And back towards them comes Casagrande and Popovic. Popovic also at 23 has got to be the star of the future of this group as he tries now to get on terms with Marco Pantani. Huge effort this. He actually feels he can reach Simoni, I think.
I think he does. He really wants to win this stage. This is the kind of stage that in the old days would have been really the kind of stage for Marco Pantani. But look at that face, the grimace, the pain. He's giving everything he can to try and pull himself back up to Gilberto Simoni. And with a ride like this, Phil, he's also moving himself high up in the overall classification. But this man just ticks away. It's up to them to catch him if they can, because he's got his own rhythm. He's sitting comfortably on that machine. He's the one with the advantage. It's a question of come and catch me if you can.
All of the crowd here are all looking and shouting at Marco Pantani. They're being treated to, at last, a display by this man. Let's hope he's got his brain in gear now. All of his problems, physical and psychological, we would love to see behind him as he now climbs up towards the summit. 1 kilometre to go for Gilberto Simoni. Hasn't, I don't think, got the sort of time gap he had hoped for or appeared to be getting as he broke away.
He's still got a chance to open it out to 30 or 40, but this man on the front here, Sefano Garzelli, is certainly not going to give up at all, and it's a great comeback for Marco Pantani. Neither too has Francesco Casagrande lost all that much time, and Popovic, Phil, is going to climb himself right up into the top 5 or 6, I think, by the end of the day.
Well, Popovic has been a high flyer since this race began, but he has never shown us his great legs like he's showing us today. He's confirming himself now as a man who could really take this race on, and a man who could really challenge the big favourites here. Pantani looking now where Casagrande, Stefano Garzelli is. He's right behind him as they come side by side here. They have fought this all the way. They've gone round, remember, Casagrande. Casagrande was coming back. Not too sure whether he is now. This is such a brute of a climb. They're in the lowest gear now, and again another kick here and a quick acceleration. Pantani is trying to show us how he won those great mountaintop finishes in the Tour de France on the steepest climbs that the great tours have to offer.
Well, a quick glimpse there of Gilberto Simoni, the steepest part of the climb here. This is a beast of a thing to do to bike riders inside the last kilometre. It really does kick in deep. Simoni's out of the saddle. He's got it into the right gear right now. When you look on the right-hand side, you're almost looking at the terrible twins, Garzelli and Marco Pantani. They're both, I think, trying to urge each other on, trying to encourage each other. They keep going by, swapping the pace, going to the front alternatively, and that is what is preventing this man from building up the huge advantage that he thought he was going to get here on the Zoncolan.
It's only by the efforts you really get a feeling just how steep this mountain is. This is the steepest part. They've got the lowest gears in, and the way they tackle these climbs. Look at the dish plate here on the back of Popovic. It looks like a 26 or 27 he's riding. This is Casagrande. As he keeps on the wheel of young Popovic now, they are slowly but surely coming back to these two, and I'm a bit surprised about that, but Popovic is pacing Casagrande back to those two riders. Soon there will be 4 riders together chasing down Simoni. They're not going to catch him. Simoni's going to win the day and increase his lead.
Look at that, though. He's already been in the saddle for over 5 hours, and to put this at the end of a 5-hour ride really is a brutal punishment. Garzelli just wants to keep himself in contention because he feels he's the better time trialist, Phil, and let's not forget, if he can stay close to Simoni, there's always the possibility he can switch the lead in the individual time trials.
Absolutely. Now Simoni beaten when he took the race lead by Garzelli, now looking for the elusive stage win of this year's Giro. I think he's got it this time. And of course, when you're already the leader on time, if you win the day, you must increase your lead. You'll get also the win bonus as well, as Garzelli has refused to drop out of this picture. It's been a real tough climb for him. It's hurt him all of the way. Look at his face, but he is refusing to succumb. A year out of the sport, and now he's fighting his way back in.
Well, Marco Pantani too, you know, Marco Pantani has not won a bike race since the year 2000. On that occasion, he got himself 2 stages at the Tour de France. I think one of those was a stage at the summit of the Mont Ventoux. Garzelli digs deep right now. He's not going to catch back to Gilberto Simoni, but he's got a very good chance of making sure that he's limiting his losses here. Look at the way Simoni is breathing there. He's just trying to get as much oxygen into that body of his as possible. He looks resplendent in that pink jersey, and I think I caught a quick glimpse there of a pink saddle that he's riding on here this afternoon.
Yes, that's in fact the physique saddle, which he designed himself at the Bio Research Centre in Milan. And it's a flexi wing saddle, and he's, well, he's not been in it too much today as he came up the mountain, but he is looking so strong now, so full of confidence as he climbs up towards the finish of what has been the biggest mountain climb in the Giro d'Italia. And it looks as though Gilberto Simoni can afford to smile now. First stage win, increasing his overall lead today. It's only a question as to be by how much, and Garzelli now racing away here to second place. I'm not too sure what has happened to Pantani, but Garzelli is coming up alone.
Well, I tell you what, I'm absolutely impressed by Sefano Garzelli, because I'm sure that Gilberto Simoni thought he was going to get a much bigger time gap than what he's getting here this afternoon. Pantani still holding on, I think, to 3rd place on the road. No, he's been overtaken there by Casagrande, so he's dropped back, but still, it's a great ride there. As you see, coming up to the line, the clock stops at 34 seconds for